Hi, and welcome to the Word of the Week. This week's word is trust. Now, keeping with our theme of Wu De, and particularly the martial virtues in action, we're going to talk about trust. In the study of martial arts, trust is really a big deal, and it's on both sides of the equation. In the old days, teachers would often have their students train in a big group setting, and they would teach general information to their general students. And then after a period of years, they would pick students who they would take to become their what they call indoor students, because they would generally, everybody train outside in the big courtyard. The indoor students would come inside, train in the house with the teacher. And part of that process, the weaning out process that went on, was basically determining whether the student was trustworthy, because the teacher was going to be imparting all of their knowledge and a lot of things that could be used inappropriately, as we've discussed last week in the morality concept. So the teacher had to know that they could trust the student. They could trust the student with the information, and they could also trust that the student would do their best to maintain the tradition, to honor the tradition of the perpetuation of their system and the improvement of their system. So it was important for a student to exhibit trust so that the teacher would then be able to give them more information. And then obviously it's important that students trust the teacher. You have to have a level of faith and confidence that the teacher is looking out for your best interest and is not going to do anything to take advantage of you, is not going to lead you down the wrong path. So it's a reciprocal relationship. And that's the way it works in life in general. Trust is reciprocal, somewhat like respect. Right? The best way to get respect is to give respect. The best way to get trust is to be a trustworthy person. And we have to think about, in the context of trust, sometimes trust also means the idea that you're depending on something, you're committing or entrusting something to be cared for in the interest of another. So when we're sharing things, especially like I'm using the martial arts as the analogy here, I have to entrust the knowledge that I have with my students so that the next generation can do what we martial artists always like to talk about, which is to be better than the next. So my job is to try and raise the level of martial arts higher than my teacher was able to. My students, their job should be the same thing, is to try and take everything that is given, that path that we've walked, understand those things, and then try to take it a step further. So, we're basically entrusting the future of martial arts to our current students. And again, we do these things in life. We have to entrust our younger generation to be able to take the lessons that we have learned, both good and bad, and then try to take things a step forward. We want every generation to be better than the one before. But to do that takes a level of trust. We have to be able to let go sometimes, and that's hard to do for a lot of us. So we have to trust that people will step up to the challenge. We have to entrust them with preserving the things that we've worked hard for and to improve on those conditions. So we want to always be that source of trust, that people know that they can depend on you, and hopefully that they can trust you to be a positive influence. Just sometimes you have people that you trust that they are not going to do what needs to be done. So try to always be that person that people can look to and rely upon, and look to as a source of consistency and trustworthiness. All right, hope you enjoyed this week's lesson. Hope to see you next week.